Business is hard until you design it like this. Discuss.
Well, there's fucking two types of businesses, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's the ones that are designed to keep you stuck, and then there's the ones that you've actually designed.
Yeah. There's good businesses and there's everyone else.
Yeah. How would you articulate the difference between the two types of businesses?
There's businesses that people, like successful, profitable businesses that people love working for, owners love working in. And then there's the rest. Like there's, what are the stats? 95% of businesses don't make it, So the ones that are designed, it's the tip of the spear. It's the thin edge of the market. And like there's a big difference between those and everyone else. And that decision to design your business, few make it, but the ones who do, there's a massive upside from them.
And we've coached over 2,000 founders now. We've been in business since 2014, and most founders want relief in their business, and relief is temporary. That's a holiday, that's an escape, that's a couple of weeks in Fiji with some nannies. But then you come back and it's fucking you back to reality again. Mm-hmm. Designing a business is structure. It's engineered. Like the biggest thing that we talk about in our world is freedom. And freedom isn't fucking laptop lifestyle in Chungu. And if that's you, then happy days. But it's actually being able to enjoy the life that you've built and thinking about life first and then how the business can generate the income to fuel that life, which is where these three components start. Mm-hmm. If people don't design a business, what happens?
Well, you just get left with what you... like
it's a fucking shit fight.
Yeah, you get what you get. And like you don't have the right to be upset.
And are we speaking from an ivory tower, or have we been there?
No,
are we kind of?
No,
and there are days that we're still there.
Yeah, we've absolutely been there firsthand. Yeah, we've been in business since 2014, and at least for the first 5 years, we'll just wing it, flying by the seat of our pants.
So is everyone else.
Accidental entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go into business because you're passionate about the product, less so about the business. And if you never learn about the business side of things, and you just focus on the product, then you actually don't have a real business.
But if we didn't figure it out, how long do you reckon we could have kept going for?
Another couple of years max. Like we were 12 to 24 months away from shutting the doors, unless we figured it out.
And it almost wouldn't have been up to us because the money would have run out. Mm-hmm. The fucking landlord would have kept knocking, and we would have just kept recycling through staff members and thinking it was their fucking fault or whatever. It was fucking grim. Mm. And the people that we coach out there, the ones that don't make it past that initial, I guess, probably first phase, when our marketing emails hit their inboxes 6 months later.
It's with a heavy heart.
It's with a heavy heart that this business...
You see that happen a lot?
Fucking...
Way too often for us.
Even though they're not with us, if someone is out there struggling and we know we've got the models to help them, there's a kind of responsibility because of this vision book, which I'll get to in a second, is we could have helped them. But ultimately, people need to be able to help themselves, right? They've got to be ready to be helped. But for those that get past that initial holy fuck and they're up here and they build the $1 million business under management, spitting out $300,000, then that's a year. Then fucking we're ready to play.
Why do you care about these guys so much? It sounds like that.
Because it's us.
Yeah, because we were in that position. So we opened our business in 2014. By about 2016, we were on the ropes. It was touch and go. So for us, there was no one came to save us. We had to figure it out ourselves, or the business would have shut. That means. We would have had to let go of our team. We had a great community of members, everything we'd obviously sunk a lot of time and energy and effort into that business, and we had nothing to show for it. But it was on us. It wasn't HQ's job to figure out our business. Definitely wasn't landlord's job to figure out how to operate our business. So the penny dropped. It was like no one was coming to rescue us. It was on us. Mm. So we look at these people out there now, and we're like, well, we figured it out. But a lot of people. Don't, they're just not going to get to that same point. But we feel like we've got the cheat code, we've got the answers, and we want to help as many people as possible because it is heartbreaking getting those email replies.
Yeah, okay.
Because we feel it's unnecessary.
So for a start, it's a decision, right? You got to decide from the start, and I wish someone fucking said this to us, is before you get into business, or let's say you're in business right now, you got to make a decision to stop and actually design the business you want rather than just get stuck in the business you end up with. Mm-hmm. And for us, there's probably three main components. And just the North Star here is we're big believers in $1 million business under management. Yeah. So what does under management mean?
Under management means you've got a team running a business. You could go away for a month, not answer emails, not do the roster, and come back. And not only your business, like it's actually grown in your absence. It's not about holding on. It's not about, oh, you've only gone back 5% while you're away. No, you can actually go away. Your team is running your business for you for a month without you involved.
And if you get to $1 million with a 30% net profit, which is what we coach in our academy, then you can turn that $300K into $20 million over the next 30 years in terms of wealth for your family. So $1 million is a great start. Now, I've actually defined freedom. Everyone wants freedom and they think like hammocks and 4-hour work. Fuck 4-hour work week. That's not, I don't know about you, I'm not going to retire. My neighbours are retired and they look bored as fuck. Are you going to retire?
Well, that's the thing. If you design a great business, especially if it's under management, like you actually never need to retire.
Bingo. Yeah, because I feel like retirement was a concept for people who just wanted to, all right, I've done my fucking 40 years, I'm out.
Yeah, 40
like
years,
surely.
40 years at Telstra, you get the gold watch and you sail off into the sunset.
Yeah, and that was like a life well lived. Yeah. Not us, eh? Okay, so the first test of freedom is it can function without you. You can go for 30 days, we could kidnap you, take you to the Congo for 30 days, and your business, it doesn't collapse. Okay, that's the first one. Your clients are happy, your team's happy, and your team or you, they don't panic. R is replaceable, which means that you've been able to replace yourself out of the different roles in your business. Because in the first phase of business, you remember how I used to chase people up the streets to get them to sign their payment forms?
Doza had a torn Achilles or something at one stage.
Yeah,
but
it was a grade 2 calf.
Yeah, but we need members. So he's running up the street on his crutches chasing a member with an easy debit form.
Seriously?
Quick, sign up. That was for $50.
Yeah, like the shit I did for all those Grouponers that turned up, I was fucking nailing it. So at the start, you might be the salesperson. And at the end, you're the leader, right? You're the visionary. There's a big book and all that sort of stuff. So you've got to be able to replace yourself out of different roles. So you're replaceable. Effectively is what I'm saying. If you're still the most valuable person in your business isn't valuable to someone else. When we sold our big one, you'd have to scroll back pretty fucking far to find me on Instagram or like on public channels because I wanted our incoming investor or buyer to know that it wasn't relying on either of us in the business.
We weren't running shifts. We weren't making the sales calls. We weren't doing the admin. We weren't the face of the business publicly.
If I don't want to sell my business, is there any value to making it sellable?
Yes, because the best businesses to keep are the ones that are the most valuable to sell. Because the reason why?
Well, because you got the freedom.
Yeah, because if we're going to buy a business this year, we don't want it to be reliant on a stressed out owner who's holding everything together with chewing gum and sticky tape, a team that is like got less than 30-day fucking retention. It's an absolute shit show internally. There's no systems internally. Like, fuck, we're purchasing a liability if we buy that.
Yeah, it's a risk.
It's a risk. Yeah. So that's that. The first E is engineered, which means it's actually designed. There's a way that if a lead drops in, there's a way that the lead gets called within 5 minutes. There's a way that, someone in their intro turns into a recurring membership. Like everything is engineered in the business. It's not just operating on vibes.
3 of them turn to 2 of them, turn to 1 of them that says for this amount of time and it gives X dollars.
Which is the model, which we'll get to in a second. The second E is earnings detached. We want to get to a point where your business doesn't rely on your presence, but your standards is what your customers are paying for. So for instance, like we don't do anything per hour over here. We don't do like the earnings can happen while we sleep. It doesn't require us to turn up every single day. It's not determined based on the effort we put into the business or how many hours we put into a certain activity. That's why we don't do people always ask us for 2-hour workshops and 1-hour workshops and all that kind of stuff. It's just not the business we designed. Because we want to provide the freedom. This D here is for decision decentralized, meaning like you have people in the company that can make decisions. It's not just, the running joke is my name's Hey Doza on Instagram because that's what I fucking heard 84 times a day until I was like, right, I've got to get I've got to get the decisions out of my head and teach the team on how to become critical thinkers, which we have that, 131 and different forms that they fill out every single week when they write their weekly reports. So you decentralize your decision making. A lot of owners that we meet.
Yeah, what that D stands for could also stand for is delegate. Because it's a skill that a lot of people don't have. And if you don't do that, you are the bottleneck. You are you're the one who's actually preventing yourself from getting that freedom.
Yeah. O stands for outcomes, not tasks. Biggest thing that we learned when we went through all that leadership training internally was, high performers work to outcomes. So out there, every single person in our company has a KPI. So many times when we meet owners, and certainly back when it was us running a fucking shit show, like we had all the KPIs. And so we were just handing out, can you do this? Can you do this? Task, instruction. And then we just basically raised idiots. Right? But it wasn't until we actually enrolled them into a vision, which we'll get to in a second, and go, based on that, this is a process because it's engineered. This is how you do it because we've delegated the decision making, and these are the outcome of how that looks good. Did we actually start freeing ourselves from being involved in every single fucking thing in the business?
Yeah. And look, another part of like outcomes is, you can hire good people and everyone will be busy. Yeah. But if they're not actually working to an outcome, they're just busy. It's just noise. Yeah. They're not actually moving the needle forward.
Yeah.
So outcomes is a big focus for what needs to happen in your business.
Outcomes, not instructions or tasks, which lends itself to being a transformational leader, not a transactional manager, micromanager. And M, to make sure that it is freedom, M means movable. Like you could, this is something you said to me at the start of this year was what's on your Power 12 or your achievement roadmap is being able,
I'm going this year I'm going to work 10 months a year in the office and 2 months a year remote. And I want to be able to do that and not risk the business at all.
From the start, like when we designed this business, I always had, what was the test I used to talk about?
The Hawaii test.
Well, before the Hawaii test, there was a different one with a different accent.
I can't remember.
In Italy.
Oh, the Tuscany test, of course.
The Tuscany test. Before we designed this business, the whole point was I could do it from Tuscany, which is where I'm going in September this year. For a month, I'm doing it.
There you go.
Freedom. I'm actually doing the test in September. I'm going to Europe for a month. The whole point was I could do it from Tuscany, so all I need is fucking Wi-Fi. And this was before we could all hotspot, right? And it didn't cost a bomb. I just needed Wi-Fi. So that's how we designed the business, and which is why it was never location dependent. It was never I needed a particular branch or I needed plant and equipment, like anything like that. That was the kind of businesses that I wanted to build. So that is how we define freedom. It's not just laptop lifestyle and Chungu running away from life. It's you've built life so fucking, like you've designed life and the business fuels that life. You're not running away from life and living in a treehouse somewhere. So this is the first component of it, vision. Do you want to explain the vision part?
Vision is like, it's everything. So if there's no vision, like what are you aiming for? What are you moving towards? Like what is the point of this business? Like, if you're in the health and fitness industry, like it's not just about running a couple of sessions. Like you need to have a bigger goal, a bigger purpose to the business. It's how you attract people. It's how you keep people. It's ultimately, like for us, it's the filter about how we make decisions.
Who we hire, who we fire.
It's how we course correct. It's actually how we run our business in the day to day, the week to week, the month to month, because we've got that long range view, and everything we do is pulled back from that view.
This is the mood board, the blueprint. This is what we're going to do over the next 3 years. It has all the different things. It's got the culture code, the mission, the values, the team identity, our leadership philosophy. It's got all this kind of stuff, our internal manifesto and also our client manifesto. Now, and the final scene. So in the next 3 years, this is the confirmation of, this is kind of written in present tense, but in 3 years' time, as it's already happened, right? And it's happened before. This is our second book. Our first book finished here in Hawaii, the LIH 25.
That was us passing the Hawaii test.
That was us passing our own Hawaii test. Yeah. The point of having the vision is the design. That's the design of life, biz, future. That's a 3-year thing. That's a 3-year thing. Now, I typically don't go much further than 3 years because I don't even know what I'm doing next Thursday. So 3 years. Beyond that, it's a bit of, who knows, particularly about AIs moving, blah, 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 blah. Here we also talk about what's the money we want to make. Now, ideally, because this is, if you want to design life first, which is why I've said that there. You want to design life first, and then based on life,
what the business needs to do to provide for that life.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why if you don't do that, you never really know what enough is. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a problem, particularly in this day and age when everyone's out there talking about $100 million, like whatever. I've worked out the maths, right?
Can you run through that number you said before? That was interesting.
Which bit? Oh, the 300K into 20 mil?
20 million, yeah. Run through that. Let's learn that point.
I'll do it up here. So, if you can generate $100 million, if you can generate $1 million business, that spits out 30% net profit. That's $300,000. Yeah,
$300K a year from your business. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's say you take half of it and you put half of it into the market. So if you invested, $150,000 a year progressively, like chipping away at it per month, if you put that into the investments at somewhere between 8 to 10% compounding over the next 30 years, that can turn into $20 million. Now, for a lot of people, that's fuck you money.
That's big money.
That's generational wealth money. Mm-hmm. That's not your kids sorted, that's your kids' kids sorted. Mm-hmm. Off the back of getting to $1 million. Now, I'm of the view that anything less than $1 million, you're not going to have enough. Mm. Anything less than $1 million at a 30% net profit, the whole point is what it generates as a yield off the back of that. If you're only doing $50,000, I say only, it's better than nothing. But if your business is half that size, it's only going to spit out half of that. And for half of that, you need to still get management and a team. You'll only be able to afford a manager and a couple of VAs.
Well, you're making an assumption there, dude. So let's assume that a business is making $1 million. If it's not designed properly, that net profit margin gets eaten up pretty quickly. By bloated labor costs, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So even that, you got to design that
100%
to get the outcome.
Which we'll get to the model there and the team. But you got to design your life first. How much do you want out of it? The other thing too is what you do want to do and don't want to do. Like what's on the do list and what's on the don't list. Like there's a whole bunch of shit I don't want to fucking do. Even before I started the business, right? Even before we started any of these businesses, before we had the gym, it wasn't about me getting on the floor and running shifts.
No.
We did not want to do that, was not certified. What I did want to do was focus on these elements here. And some of this might be life as well, right? When I made a deal with myself that I wanted to see how much we could generate in terms of earnings. There was one particular year where I remember my New Year's resolution, when everyone wanted to lose weight, was like, no, I want to get really good at productivity because I knew that I wanted to maximize my earnings, but also still be able to get out of the movies with Essie if he called me, or we could drop and we could do a long lunch at any time. Like at the drop of a hat, we could do that. It didn't take over my weekends, and I didn't want to this was just before we had Amaya, our firstborn. I didn't want to take time out of the family. So I had to get really fucking good at making sure the model was right and my list of do's and don'ts. Otherwise I get stuck cleaning the fucking toilets.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about vision and money, okay?
Yeah.
It's probably going to relate a bit back to this.
Yeah.
But there's no point, I'll tell you what a vision is not. A vision is not you as an owner going, I want to make $1 million a year, because your team isn't going to buy into that. Like it's the money that you need is less around the vision that's going to galvanize your team.
Yeah,
and
so
give
it's
them something to
not.
rally around.
It's not an income statement. It's an impact statement, right?
Yeah. Same thing with a lot of our owners when they come to us. We're like, okay, what's the big goal for your business? What's your vision? I just need an extra 20 members. Or it'd be awesome if we could get to $30,000 a month or $40,000 a month. That's not a vision. It's a really short-term goal. It's a stepping stone, And if that is your vision, it's you're going to fall short and you're going to lose. People aren't going to attach to that vision.
It's not an income statement. It's an impact statement. Yeah. But what happens when you focus on an impact statement?
What gets measured? You start to hit it's uncanny. How many times we go, you know what? Let's look at this metric. And a couple of years ago, we were having some cash flow issues. So we literally started tracking our cash. And so a report we get every day still called our daily cash report. Something fucking magical happens. If you track something every day and you look at it every single day, there's not many days that you let that go down. So literally we started tracking our daily cash, and our cash flow problems almost literally back from that day, we've never had them since.
Mental.
Just from looking at it. Mainly 90% of it comes from looking at it.
So the vision step is the design. Where you can't make a vision is sitting at your desk staring at a blank Google Doc where you've just gone file, save as. That's not where it starts.
Vision. All right.
Yeah, we're fucking... Let's go. All right. No, it's not that. It's not in between meetings. Like, I don't know how you can come up with it aside from basically just disappearing for a couple of days and staring at the wall, like, or a fire, or just... You got to get expansive. You got to get altitude. Like, don't do it at home. Don't do it in your business. Don't do it in your office. Get out there somewhere, and ideally unbroken time for more than an hour. We can probably give this away in terms of so that there's a structure that people can have. Link in description for this is our second one. More welcome to have that. So we're happy with that. That's the design. So before already. This is the stage that people don't do.
Yeah, I'd say 99%.
They just get started.
Yeah, they don't have a vision.
They just they're in. The second part is the model. People don't talk about this enough. All over the internet, people talk about how to get leads, how to make sales, how to just all the sexy stuff. There's fuck all people that actually speak about, but what's your model? Why this matters, and I'll get you to explain what the fucking model is, but why this matters is because the total addressable market, which is probably talked about over here, is how much money there is to make in your market. If you're going after dog walking, if you're going after pole dancers, if you go, what do we both say that? If we're going after like treadmills for people with whatever, you could talk about how many people there are to sell and how much money there is to make, but your business model will determine how hard it is to make that money. That's the difference. Have you designed a dump truck or a Ferrari?
Yeah. How much of that market you'll actually make will be determined by your model.
If my answer was, all right, I now know I need to make $1 million to service the loft that I want to leave. You could sell one thing for $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah. 10 things for $100,000.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about in terms of model.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's almost like it's how your business makes money. It's like that's the model, right? We've always had recurring revenue businesses.
We've always had, but like we were exposed to some broken models at the start, right? So when we did have some money problems, like what we didn't realize at the time was we actually had a model problem. Back in those early days, like everything was a free trial. So like
fuck free trials.
Yeah, leads would be walking in the door. Like they had no intention of actually ever transacting with our business, and that was like literally the only way we had of getting leads in. So like. There was a model issue that we had to address in terms of how we brought people in the door.
And there's language we didn't even know existed. You know, like when we speak to business owners, like fellow business owners now who are successful, we all talk in CAC, LTV, run rates, GP, operating profit. Like there's a common language now at that level that we had no fucking idea of back then. But that's because the gangsters talk about models. They don't talk about, the sexy stuff that everyone thinks they talk about. It's all about the models, right? Like we're currently inking terms with an ASX listed company for another venture. Dude, of the 3 months that we've been doing this so far with them, what of the total time that we spent with them, what
the product?
What percentage are we talking about popping bottles versus the terms and the model?
Yeah, well, it's like a 0%. So it was actually, it's interesting. So seeing how these guys have gone and approaching a business, they've designed, well, they're accountants, they've designed the P&L. They've designed the P&L, and then like the business plan literally comes out of all the line items of the P&L. But it's like, so we're pushing back on how the product should look and feel like, and they're like, no, that's the model, There needs to be 7% of them and 2% of them, because that will spit out the profit margin. They literally design the entire business. So 30% is not enough for these guys. It's 35%. So everything is flows out of that 35% decision to make that in a profit margin. Then that is like that informs how the model's designed.
I'll show you my analogy. If you imagine the vision is the 3D render of like this thing that you're going to build, the model is literally the blueprint where the bathrooms are going to go and where the pipe levers and 5 mils out from here and how you do. So you'd be crazy to just start turning up to a building site and start laying bricks. But people, A, they didn't have the 3D render, and B, they don't know, they're just fucking laying bricks. Like how your business makes the money, recurring revenue is something that we're always going to design recurring revenue businesses. Because that way, that's how your business, like here, earnings decoupled, that's how you can earn while you sleep. Look, we don't need to start every single month at zero.
No. Something that we that we realized early on. I think we read it in one of those books. It might have been a Jim Collins book. And like when we heard this, like the penny dropped. It was like it's just as easy to sell a jumbo jet as it is to sell a bloody lollipop.
Yeah, the 747 level.
Yeah. So we're like, you know what? Like we're flogging ourselves to sell a free trial. We're like, hold on, why don't we just sell an upfront membership?
Yeah. In the model, you've got to figure out how you acquire people. So how do customers happen in your business? How are you going to market? How are we going to get them? How much we're going to charge them to start with us? And you've got to figure out like the delivery part, which is how do you literally deliver the thing that they paid for? How does that look? What are you going to do? What are they actually going to pay you for? What are you going to do for them?
And why are they going to stick around?
And then ultimately, you need to have some metrics around what good looks like on acquisition, like how much we want to. If we think we can make 10 grand off them out the back, then using a 3-to-1 like a CAC to a CAC, which is how much it costs you to acquire a member versus how much money they're going to give you. If they're going to give you 10 grand, you probably don't want to spend more than 3 grand to acquire someone at the start. That's the CAC to LTV ratio, 1 to 3. And that way, ideally, we want to make sure that every business that we've designed, we're able to liquidate or get this money back within 30 days. Because that way, if we can do that within 30 days, you can finance the growth of your business on Namex. So the model is really important. This is the vision. This is how we're going to be able to do that as a business.
Yeah.
Which will then,
I'll say something controversial here.
Ooh.
What we've seen from working with about 2,000 clients is when we say model, like it's ski ergs or bikes or dog walkers, like the actual thing you deliver doesn't matter as much as the business model behind it. So having an acquisition model, and when we say delivery, it's not about like what time your ski erg class is. It's about like how you run that class, how you hire your trainers, how you train them,
your ratios,
how you actually operate the business model as opposed to like whatever the concept is.
Yeah, that's a good point, bro. Because whenever we speak to particular franchise networks, it's all about, they've almost been brainwashed to talk about the product. And we're like, that's cool. We love your concept. But how is, like, we're talking about, like, is it 1 to 10? Is it 1 to 50? Is it like, how does the nuts and bolts work of how the business makes money? Less about your concept with your dual zone training or whatever.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter. We've seen it 2,000 times. There's no concept that's better than another one.
Now, if we just had these two, you still don't have freedom because you're fucking captain doing everything yourself.
Yeah, you're wearing all the hats, you're juggling all the balls. You could never go on holidays.
The part where freedom unlocks is where you start to bring in a dream team.
The dream team.
Now, a dream team need to know what the dream is.
Otherwise, I'll find someone else with a bigger vision.
Exactly. So, run me through what these gangsters need. Or run me through what the business needs to have in order to have a dream team. Because good people don't leave because of bad systems.
Yeah. Well, look, they need a couple of things. So they need some future, right? They need some future, but also at the daily level, like they need to know like what to do, how to do it,
exactly,
what good looks like, and how they're going against that.
So expectations. That's what's called a KPI. Feedback. How they're going against those expectations. One-on-ones.
Yep.
And then they need some future. Right? Where are we going? We want to see some opportunities here for these guys. Now, even if they've got all these three things, are they just winging it, or is there something else happening in their business?
No, the business needs systems. That's what ultimately gets the model out of your head.
Yeah.
This is how you delegate to the next people in the business. This is how you buy back your time.
And so what's the difference between, we talk about playbooks, processes,
systems,
and checklists.
Yep.
Which is, by the way, the reason why planes don't just fly out of the sky all the time. Explain like what a system is as a combination of other things.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So like, for example, in our business, we've got a sales system.
Yeah.
Okay. So the sales system is where everything to do with sales lives in the business. Inside of this,
like how we make sales.
How we make sales ourselves. Yep. The playbook's inside of that. Okay, so for example, we have a sell by chat team. So there's a sell by chat playbook. We've got a phone sales team. There's a phone sales playbook. There's a closer playbook, okay? And then inside of the playbooks are all the processes and checklists that these guys need. So the scripts.
Yeah.
How to chat to someone, how to do a triage call, how to do a close call.
Yeah.
And then all the checklists. Good. What happens when you hang up the phone after a sale?
Yeah.
Who needs to be told what? Like what emails do you send? What Slack message do you send? How do you actually hand off that sale to the coaching team?
And what would happen if we took that away?
Well, yeah, you're winging it.
You're winging it.
Totally winging it, and it's 100% stuck in your head. So like, yeah, you don't have that freedom.
Mental. So quite literally, a difference between a business that you're feeling trapped in versus the design one is like this part here as well.
Mm-hmm. System, save yourself time, energy, and money.
Yeah. And stress, I think that last
And
one.
stress.
So we've got the vision. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to do it. And this is who we're going to do it with. And so that way, there's probably, your role as a founder, whoever's watching here on a Thursday morning, your role as a founder will change depending on the 3 different levels and the 3 different stages of business that your business will go through. And there's no point trying to do this all at once, because if you try to do, what would happen if they try to do this all at once?
Nothing will happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You won't, it'll be embarrassing. There's different things you've got to do at each of the levels, and there's good news and bad news at each of the levels. Bad news is there's a different devil at every level, but the good news is off the back of defeating that devil, you get to become the person that can generate $20 million of, family wealth for your grandkids. So this is how you design a business that gives you freedom, not a business designed to keep you stuck and sad. Mm-hmm. But there's a sequence to all this. Otherwise, you just won't do any of it.
Yeah, otherwise you're already busy. This is just more shit that you're not going to get to.
So if you want to know the sequence and the 3 different stages of business and the devils that you've got to kill at each of the different levels, then watch that video here.